if alimony is left to the court to decide, it can be modified later. What you don't know about Georgia alimony laws could cost you greatly during divorce. Have you ever considered how Georgia's alimony laws could impact your divorce? Stay with me, I'm going to break it down for you. So I recently had two clients, both of whom had gone through a divorce. They had something in common. They both made poor alimony agreements. The difference, though, was that one could modify their agreement and the other could not. Let me explain why this happened. And by the way, I was not the reason for the poor alimony agreement. They came to me after the fact. So in Georgia, if a court orders a certain amount of alimony, that amount of alimony can be modified later. So the difference in those two alimony situations, even though they were both bad agreements, was that one could modify their alimony agreement and the other could not. Now I'm going to explain that to you, and I'm going to explain why this happened. In Georgia, if a court orders a certain amount of alimony, that amount can be modified later. That's if the court orders it. This means that the paying or the receiving party can return to court to either request an increase or a decrease in the alimony based on changing circumstances. Although we won't dive into all the specifics right now, but just remember what I just said. The key takeaway here is that court-ordered alimony can be modified. But what if the alimony amount is agreed upon during settlement negotiations between the parties and it's not imposed upon them by the court? It can still be modified unless the agreement specifically states that it is non-modifiable. To settle a case outside of court, parties might agree on an alimony amount and might specify that it is non-modifiable. Now, without such language, the court does retain the ability to change the alimony amount. You can petition the court for a modification, and the court can then decide to adjust the award either upward or downward. However, if the agreement specifically explicitly states that the alimony is non-modifiable, the court's hands are tied and they cannot alter the amount. This means if you're paying too much, the court can't reduce it, and if you're receiving too little, the court can't increase it. Now here's the main point. Always know whether your alimony agreement is modifiable or non-modifiable. Now, back to the two cases I mentioned. In case one, this individual had an agreement with a non-modifiable alimony clause. So they were paying about $7,000 a month, and they had a pretty high-paying job. Then, due to a medical issue, they lost their job. Despite this unfortunate set of circumstances of what happened to them, they were still required to keep paying the same amount of alimony because the alimony was non-modifiable. The court couldn't change it, and neither could I. In case two, the second client also had a significant alimony amount, but they didn't have a non-modifiability clause. They asked if it could be changed, and I informed them that yes, it could be changed. We filed for a modification due to a change in their circumstances and their income, and the court was able to adjust the alimony because the agreement allowed for it. So remember this, if alimony is left to the court to decide, it can be modified later. Whether you're the paying party or the receiving party, the ability to change alimony based on future circumstances is crucial. Be very careful before you give that up. Now, if I were to give advice, I would say that as a paying party, avoid non-modifiable alimony. If your income drops, you want the flexibility to adjust your payments. As the receiving party, while you might not benefit from an increase in income on the payer side, a fixed amount of alimony could provide more stability for you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to click subscribe, like, follow, and turn on the alerts so that you'll get notified when we post our newest videos. And please share these videos and leave us comments and ask us questions. Also, join our Facebook group at Georgia Divorce and Custody, and I'll see you again on the next video.